Hey everyone, this is Richard with Richard Runs Trails. Wanted to give a September update. I've got some new products come in. Um, let you know what's going on with me, what I plan to do. Um, First off, been working on my studio. Got a new Richard Runs Trail banner. I think it looks pretty good. I'm planning to do more interviews. It's one of the reasons I got the boom mic, and I should kick that off this week. So excited about that. You're probably saying, well, Richard, why are you wearing a racing vest? Well, I'll talk about it in a minute. It's a Salomon vest. It wasn't easy to get on, so I didn't want to scramble with it when I was live. Um, got a bunch of new products in, and some of them I listed in the description, but happy to talk about anything you guys want to talk about. Maybe race-wise, we talk about. I had habanero a few weeks back. Got my feet pretty injured, but they seem to be fine now. Still having problems with my right foot. It's a little bit sore when I start to run. I've had this problem before. Maybe a little bit arthritis. I mean, I'm 55 and been running for 30 years. And as I posted yesterday, I calculated that I've finished 91 marathons. So that's pretty hard on the body, and that's not including my training miles, which is 2,000 to 3,000 per year, and biking and everything else I do, weightlifting. So not complaining. I just learned to deal with it. When you get my age, something's always hurting. I've had problems in this foot before, and I've had it x-rayed at foot doctor. He says nothing's wrong, but by the ball of your ankle, there's also a ball of nerves, and they say it can get aggravated, and there's not much you can do about it. And so usually after I run a mile or start working, racing or whatever, it goes away. But it aches, and I got it x-rayed, last year or whatever. I thought I might have a stress fracture. But my whole life, I've never had any broken bones or anything. I just have really hard bones. I mean, I raced motorcycles for a long time and crashed so many times. I've never broken anything. So, but I was curious. He said, no, you don't have any stress fractures. You just have some nerves upset. So that's why I've been trying different shoes. Some things work better than others. I train in Hoka's, mostly the Mach 4s, which here's an Ironman Mach 4, really good shoe. It's just a regular Mach 4, but haven't got the Mach 5s yet. I just ordered another pair of Mach 4s, black. Well, Richard, why are you not using the Mach 5? It's because they're like $30, $40 more, and everybody's saying there's not much difference. So just use the Mach 4s until they're not available anymore. But this one you can see is pretty worn out. I've got probably 400 miles on it. Really nice shoe. Fits just right, for training, 6 miles to 10 miles. I'm not going to have any problems with the width in the front. I've just had problems with the Hoka past 50 miles. And I talked about that in my my last broadcast. I won't get into it too much, but I'm bringing it up because I got my new Speedgoat 5s. I'm pretty excited about it. These are double E's, so I'm gonna be testing them out this week, and also got some thicker Injinjis in house. Actually, they haven't arrived yet, but they should arrive this week. I'm planning to test those on Sunday in a trail marathon. So my next, but this is a really nice looking shoe. I like the colors a lot. Anyways, gonna try it out. Hoka Speedgoat 5 double E's. So I'm just hoping that back here in the heel is not any problem. So yeah. But like I said, going to be trying out those shoes this week. Hopefully they're not too wide. If they are, I'll just use them for training runs. I mean, there'll be no problem, but I'll have to use my Olympus 4s. I have a pair of Ultra Olympus 4s, which are still fairly new. I can use for the next race and maybe the race after that. But it's called Night Moves Trail Marathon. I have not done this one before. It's north of Houston. Not too far. It's kind of the same Sam Houston State Park, but this is across the highway. So it's the same area as Rocky Raccoon, but not the same trails. And it's put on by Trail Racing Over Texas, which recently had management change. You know, Cal's running it now. Rob has stepped down. I guess sold part of the business to Cal. I think he's doing a really good job. I mean, Habanero I thought was more organized and the aid stations were better. So I think that Cal's going to do a good job. So night moves, it's what it says it is. It's supposed to be a fun race. It's at night. You know, it's real hot in Texas right now. So I'll be running through the night, a trail marathon. It's this Saturday night. Then I have a few weeks recovery time, training time, which I'll probably do mostly weightlifting, not too much running. And then I have Arkansas Traveler 100 miler. That's in the Ozark. That's a tough race. Last year I made it about 60 miles and just a cutoff time problem. I never had that happen before, but it's a real tough race. There's only a couple hundred people in it, and most of them are really, I would say, front of the mid-pack type runners. So I was definitely in the back of the pack of that race. And there's a lot of climbing in that race. I think it's like 15,000 feet or something like that. But I made it to the turnaround, so I've seen the whole course. I know what I'm up against. This year I'll be more prepared. Last year I was probably just 30 minutes off from continuing. They were going to let me go, but you know, like I said in my race report, I couldn't have negative split. I wouldn't have had any time at aid stations, you know, just to eat something. Because you know, the second half of the race, you really need to eat more than you did the first half of the race. So I pulled out at the turnaround point. I regretted that. I should have kept going because some people finished after 30 hours and they still got their buckle and everything. So in hindsight, I should have kept going. This year, I'm not going to give up, regardless of the time. Even if I don't get an official finish, I'm going to keep going unless they pull me out, which I don't think they will. But I'm much more prepared this year. My weight's better. I'm much stronger. Just need to make sure I got the right shoes on. If I'm not sure, I'll just default back to the ones I wore last year, the Olympus 4s. Then after that race, I've got about 3 weeks, and then I've got another 100 miler, Dinosaur Valley 100 miler. 100 miles are pretty close. Probably shouldn't have planned that, but you know how it is. I was excited to try the Dinosaur Valley one in Dallas. It's not far away from me. It's only 3 hours away. And they're trying hard to become a qualifier for Western States. And they're managed by a good group of people. And they have a really cool belt buckle. It's kind of silver. It's got a big like T-Rex on it. But you know, it's in Texas. It's close to me. You know, next year I plan to only do Texas races. The only exception would be that if I get into Western States, I've been in the lottery 3 years. If I get in, I'll go to California in the summertime. But other than that, I plan to do only Texas races next year. I'll talk about it in a second. And then in December, I'm doing my first last man standing race. That's up on the Texas-Oklahoma border. You know, that's where you run, I think it's 4.1 miles and a loop of 4.1 miles. And it starts every hour on the hour. So let's say you finish the 4.1 loop in 50 minutes, then you have 10 minutes rest until the next one. But every hour on the hour, you have to be at the starting line or you're disqualified. So I'm kind of curious to see how far I can go. I mean, typically 4.1 miles, it's probably in the 45 to 50 minute range for me on trails. So be interesting as I get tired and what the weather is. It should be cold, which will help. But it'll be my first last man standing race. Then in January, a few weeks after that, I have Bandera 100K. This will be my 6th running of the Bandera 100K. It's just something I do every year. It's only about 2.5 hours from me, and I just love the venue, and the race director does a great job. And it's kind of iconic, you know, it's probably the most famous race in Texas because it's a Western State qualifier. However, I'm never qualified for Western States using Bandera 100K. I think the closest I've gotten is something like 17 hours, 30 minutes. You have to be under 17 hours. If I'm pretty healthy and my feet feel good, I think I might be able to do it this year because I've been getting faster every year. And I know the course pretty well. So it's a 2-lap course. So it'll be interesting. If I can qualify for Western States and Bandera 100K, the following month I have Rocky Raccoon 100 miler. I'm not sure if I'll downgrade to 100K because I prefer 100K, but I'm signed up for the 100 miler. I qualified for this year's Western States with Rocky Raccoon the previous year. So 100 miler. So I finished that race before. But that's a really brutal 100 miler. It's not a lot of elevation, but it's just tough because pacing's hard. It can get very cold at night because it's near Houston. So the cold wind can come in from the Gulf of Mexico. So we'll see. So that's why I got going. In March, I'll probably do J&J, either 50 mile or 100K. Because my goal next year, the reason I'm focusing on Tejas Trail races is I'm really trying to get the 400-mile buckle. And what that is you must complete a couple races. I think one of them for sure is because of the mileage you really need to do Tejas, their first couple of races, which is Bandera 100K, Rocky Raccoon 100 miler. If you don't do the 100 miler, then you're going to be doing even a lot more races to try to do it, because he doesn't count any race that's 50K or less. So you need to do enough races so you can meet the 400-mile minimum. I think one year I got to around 300 miles, but I was doing some trail racing over Texas races and some other races. So if I focus on Tejas trail races, because I race every month, I should be able to get it. It's a really cool buckle. It's a 400-mile buckle. So that's my plan for next year. The only exception, like I said, would be that if I get into Western States, and I think this is my 3rd year in the lottery, and I don't think I'll get it this year. It's the odds are very low, but who knows? Let's see. I'm ready for it if it needs to be. But that's my plan. I'm not sure what I'll be doing the rest of the year. I'll just know it's Tejas trail races. They'll probably be mostly 50Ks. And then because their longer races are in the spring and fall. So I'll do the big races in the spring, and then late spring I'll do some 50Ks. During the summer, I'm not sure what I'll do. And then in the fall, some 50Ks, and then they have in November, December, some 100Ks. So that's my plan. That'll keep me busy. And another good thing is that Tejas Trails is they've added more races that get you UTMB points. They've always had some, but they've added more races. I've had quite a bit of UTMB points in the past, and my goal is to run to UTMB, the long race, not the CCC or any of the other ones. I'd really like to do UTMB in 2024. So focusing on Texas races next year, then use all my UTMB points to get into a big out-of-state race like UTMB or Western States, or I might do both of them if I can get in both of them. I think the odds of that are real low. But UTMB is pretty straightforward. If I got all the points, I get in the lottery, and their lottery is not that difficult. I mean, it's still a chance you don't get in, and then COVID should be long gone by then, or very manageable. I mean, I don't have any problem with COVID. I mean, I've already had 4 shots, 2 regular ones and 2 boosters. I think I'm fine. You go over there and race now, but anyways, my plan is to go over there in 2024 if I can get in, and I think the airfares will go down a lot by then. Still the flights they're just not flying as much as they should because of the pandemic and the war and all that. But anyways, 2024, I hope to be in UTMB. That's as far as I can see out now. I'd like to do a 200-mile race or the big race in the UK where they run along the ridge. Montaigne Spine. That's a 200-something mile race. Probably the most difficult race in Europe, with the exception of that race in Italy. I forget the name. But that's what I want to do. I need to do some cold weather races before I do that. I'd like to do an ultra maybe in Minnesota or Canada. There's one in Minnesota where you have to pull a sled. Because I'm a hot weather racer. I mean, the heat doesn't bother me at all. I mean, it can be nearly 100 the whole race and it's no problem, but I am kind of a wimp when it comes to the cold. So I need to get used to the cold weather racing before I try to do the spine race, because spine race is in January and there's even post holing in the snow and you go through one major pass. It's a difficult race, but that's a cool race. I mean, you're like stopping in farmer's house and they feed you and some let you sleep on the floor. It's a really bizarre race, but they give you like, I think you have 3 or 4, maybe 5 days to finish. It's more of a project than a race. That's the kind of thing I like. So UTMB, Montane Spine Race, those are some big races I want to do. Also want to do some big races in Asia. I was kind of disappointed the Chinese banned ultras for a while. I don't know if it's going to come back or not, because I have a house in Chengdu and there's a lot of big mountains near there and they have ultras, but they've all been canceled. I don't know when they're going to come back, but I'd like to do a race in Asia as well. But 200 milers in US, I want to do the Moab 240. How about you guys? I think that would be just epic. I want to do that one. But they're expensive, so I'm not going to do very many of them. I just want to do the ones that really interest me, because, you know, Bigfoot 200, Tahoe 200, not very interested. And I mean, I know those areas. And Bigfoot 200, I'm not real excited about running through the forest in Washington State, you know, getting chased by bears. I don't know why I'm coughing. I don't have a cough. I need more coffee. Let's talk about products. I'm sorry if you're listening to this broadcast on my podcast, then you not being able to see the pictures and what I'm doing. But if you'd like to see the products, please check my YouTube channel, Richard Runs Trails. Anyways, my Ultra Aspire vest has been wearing out, chafed me up some. I've had good luck with Ultra Aspire. I mean, I was on their ambassador team for a couple of years. Just a great group of people. The owner, the lady that runs the program, just top notch. Best ambassador program out there. I've been on several. I decided not to do it anymore because a couple reasons. I don't really think it's worth it to be in an ambassador program. I mean, you give me like 20%. It's even better discount on Ultra Aspire, but how often are you going to buy a vest? Not very much, maybe once a year. It's not that much money you're saving. But, you know, when you're an ambassador, they want you to post on Instagram and do this and do that. I don't use Instagram or Facebook because I just don't do it anymore. I didn't have the time for it. And I'm the kind of person that when somebody comments on my stuff, I'm going to comment back to you. And that's my pledge to my subscribers. I don't care if I'm got 50 million subscribers or 690, which is what I had as of this morning. Nothing, you know, there are some big YouTubers, some even local to me, you know, they have nutrition products, and I comment on their stuff. They just ignore me. I'm even local to them. I promise I will never do that to my subscribers. And the way I can do that is I just don't use that many different types of social media. So I have LinkedIn, which I use for business and networking. I've been with LinkedIn since they started in 91. I have over 30,000 connections and followers, which is the max. I have to delete people to add people, you know, type thing. But I get behind on messages sometimes. You know, I'm in procurement, but even if a salesperson sends me a message, I will reply to them. I'll just tell them, you know, I don't use your product or I'm not interested, but I never ignore anybody. It may seem like it sometimes because my message is delayed, but I always reply to everyone. And the same thing with YouTube, I plan to do no matter how big I get. There are a lot of people not like that, and I don't understand that. Maybe they use too many different avenues for social media. And even some of the big YouTubers, there's one local to me that makes nutrition products, and he has a team of people doing his social media, and they don't even reply to you. And sometimes I've given feedback on their products, positive and suggesting changes, and they still don't reply to you. Isn't that bizarre? I guess business is too good. Anyways, that's just the way I work, the way I roll. But got a bunch of new products in. Salomon Advanced Skin 12 Vest. I wanted to try this. You know, I've been doing trail running for 5 years maybe. I've always been intrigued by Salomon products. And I don't wear their products, but in my mind, they're probably the best products. I like the way their vests look. I like their shoes, but their shoes are too narrow. I never could wear their shoes. And it's not just Salomon, it's a lot of the European brands. I don't know why, they're just very narrow. But a lot of the ladies and some guys wear the Salomon shoes, and they're usually the top pros, and they're not always sponsored. I really think Salomon makes just a top-notch product. The stuff is narrow, and now look at the vest. I wanted to try it because I got a good price on it, and I would have paid regular price actually. I wanted to try a Salomon vest, and I got it in, and it's probably, I don't know, 12 inches from closing. I mean, I can close it with this strap. Advanced Skin is the right name because this feels like it's tight as your skin. I just couldn't wear that. I think it would chafe me. So I'm going to return it. But get this. I mean, I'm not some bodybuilder, and I'm not fat. I mean, I've got a little bit of pounds I need to lose still. I'm working on that. But I'm muscular, but I'm not a bodybuilder. But this is an XL. This is the largest size they make. It's still like 12 inches from closing. I mean, or I don't know, maybe 6 inches from closing because it's not supposed to go all the way. It's just skin tight. And some people have given feedback online that these bottles, once you pull them out to fill them up, you can't get it back in the pocket. And I'm starting to understand why, because it's so tight. And I try to push the bottle back in. I think I'm going to have the same problem. And I'm surely not going to take the vest off in the race. That was the whole reason I wanted to try this one. Also because it has nice connections to hold your poles in the front vertically. I think that's really cool because I've been wanting to get a vest that has a quiver. What's a quiver? A quiver is that pack in the back of that holds your poles that makes you look like Robin Hood. They call it a quiver. I don't know. I've never heard that word before. But I couldn't find one. I figured it out that they call it a quiver. I saw in the UTMB race the Terex hydration packs, which are made by Adidas. They say they're not coming out till anytime soon, maybe next year. Or they have quivers built in. And I think that is so cool, having your poles in a pouch in the back instead of having to take your vest off and wrap them up in the bungee wire. That's what you have to do on the Ultra Spire, and it's on the back, so you have to take the vest off to do it. But I like the Salomon because you could put the poles one vertically on each side, but too tight. So I'm going to have to return this guy to REI. But I wanted to show you. I can hardly get the thing off. I can't imagine in a race when it's filled up. Yeah. That's an extra large. Can you imagine? How does someone wear a small or medium? Unbelievable. Hey, Jay Jordan's in the house, man. What's up, dude? Just going over some products. Let's see, what else did I get in? I showed you guys. If you haven't tried out, checked out Jay Jordan's channel, check it out. The guy is so talented. Lots of good exercise programs. Great musician. I showed you my new Speedgoat 5s. Another shoe that I got, Kinis. Never heard of it before. Hey, Jay. Hey, thanks for joining. Anyways, I got these shoes, Kinis. I was at the Austin Athletics Show. They were having a powerlifting competition. And I went there to check it out, and they had some booths. And they had this brand. It's a minimalist shoe. See if I can hold it up. It kind of looks like a sock, It feels like a sock too. And then on the bottom. Oh, thanks, Jay Jordan, man. I really appreciate it. So this new shoe looks like a sock, and it's got a rubber bottom. It's flat. And they say it's good for, well, it's at a powerlifting show. I got them to lift weights in because currently I mostly lift weights in my Atreus and my Ultra Escalantes because they're fairly flat and comfortable. But this shoe is perfectly flat. So I've been lifting weights in these. I still wear a sock in it. And they were about $60, probably a little bit higher than they should be. But I thought they're a pretty neat concept, and they're really comfortable. I can wear them around the house, but I mostly wear them in the gym. And you can just wash them easily, and then you just hang dry them. But Kinis, check them out. I've never heard of them. I think they're kind of a was a Vietnamese guy that started the company, and I think it's a good concept, and they're not too expensive. I saw them at the Austin Fitness Show. Speaking of the Austin Fitness Show, there was also a social media app there called Athena, and I joined them. Like I was talking earlier, I don't use Instagram or Facebook. I just use YouTube and LinkedIn for business, and some other, like I use WhatsApp and WeChat for contacting China and stuff like that. But social media wise, I just use YouTube and LinkedIn. This Athena is a new app which specializes in athletes. So they have a group of runners, they have a group of bodybuilders, yoga, many different sports. So when you do a post, you can choose which group you want it to go to. It's pretty neat. It kind of reminded me, I don't know if you remember bodybuilding.com. I don't know if they still have it or not. You know, they're the big online seller of supplements and stuff. They had a social media where it was all weightlifting people. And I thought that was pretty cool. I was part of that for a while. But I'm trying out this Athena. It's started by a guy named Max in Chicago. They had a big booth at the Austin Fitness Show, and I've joined it. I know my brother's joined it. But it's a new app. You can download it from the Apple Store. Check it out. What else did I get? About a month ago, I got these Ripsticks. The guy on the internet that does these, he's super jacked. I mean, they live up in the New York area. I'm sure you've seen some calisthenics people using them, but it's static exercises. So you pull it, you pull it. I got different rubber bands that come with them. This kit is only about $35. So you buy it from Ripstick. I forget the full name. He's up in New York. The guy that started the company, he was in prison for a long time, and a very creative guy. He's very knowledgeable, of course, about burpees and different things. Just very creative, because when they're in prison, they don't have many things to work out. And he was explaining that most prisons, they took the weights out a long time ago, but they developed different sticks and stuff, ways to work out. And these static exercises, you know, you can go above your head and stuff like that. And on his channel, he's got like 20 different exercises to work every body part, not legs, but to work arms and shoulders and everything. Okay, that's a company named RipRight. Yeah. These are cool. So it's made by RipRight. They're only about $35. You can do you got different things. You can do curls and all kinds of things, different bands. The different bands are different resistance, but I like them because you can just kind of be at your desk. You can do some different exercises and stuff, and you'll feel it. You'll feel it. So I just playing around with them. They don't cost much, and they're a pretty cool idea. Great if you worked in the office. You know, I work from home, but you know, if you worked in the office, you know, some people have those grips where they work out the hands, but this, you can work out your whole upper body. There's lots of different exercises that he has on his channel. If you might have seen my Jacfit J-Run sensor video, well, I got in their new boxing sensors, so I'm going to do a video on those. So basically, the app comes up on the TV and your boxing characters in the app. So it's pretty cool. So I'm going to get into it and also let my family members do it. But I got these in. The video will be up this week. So this is the J-Run boxing sensor. Pretty cool. I don't think there's anything out there. I mean, there's a lot of people that do the running type sensors. This is the first one I've seen for boxing. And it's not for serious boxing. It's just for boxing for workouts. So your family member, because that's become real big. Kickboxing is like kind of a hardcore aerobics. It's gotten very popular. I was curious, what do you guys like? Do you like wooden metals or metals? This is a buckle. But I was thinking about it because I was reorganizing my buckle case. I need to get another one. If you want to get a buckle case like this, you can get them on the Walmart app. There's a supplier that sells these cases. They're only $100, and it's really good quality. And plexiglass, 2 latches on the bottom. I think it's a really good deal. I know some people make their own and stuff. The quality is really good. I'm gonna get another one. Yeah. Jay says you like both. I also like the wood too. They're kind of like burned in. I have different types. I don't know. I think I like the steel ones the best. One thing interesting about belt buckles, especially, is I was thinking about this the other day. Is bigger doesn't mean necessarily the race was harder. That's for sure. One of my hardest races that I finished, it was actually my first 100-miler that I finished. It took me twice. The first time I made it 82 miles, had back problems, was in the Phoenix desert, and that's Javelina 100. It's a really small belt buckle, but it was probably one of my hardest ones to earn. This is a 100-miler. And they're very clever. I think a lot of race directors, they make a mistake where they don't use the same buckles every year. And sometimes they run out and have to give you the wrong buckle. That happened to me at Jalapeno 100. They gave me a buckle unrelated, which is kind of a bummer. And I think some race directors are clever about that. So Javelina doesn't put the year on there. It's a very big race. They could have 500 people finish, but everyone always gets a buckle. But yeah, some of my big buckles were not that difficult, but one of my smallest buckles was actually the hardest race I finished. Yeah. So what else is going on? There was something else I was going to bring up. I can't remember now. Yeah, so I have the Night Moves marathon trail run this weekend. Like I said earlier, I'm having problems with my right foot, so probably the trail marathon's not a good idea, but I'm gonna still do it. That's kind of the way I roll. I mean, a lot of my races most of my races are just training races. So I'm just taking it easy during the week, mostly make weightlifting, doing some hiking on my treadmill. Coaches always say, I mean, I'm a coach too, I don't coach anybody, but I understand what they do is they always say a month before race, you're not going to really gain any endurance or gain anything. I think the month before race is really important, is to kind of keep your weight in check and don't get injured. Take care of yourself, eat well. I think that's the most important thing. So I don't really taper, but I kind of take it easy. I'll switch more to weightlifting. That's one of the things thanks, Jay. That's one of the things I like about having different hobbies. I do the weightlifting, also do the cycling. I just got my back wheel fixed a few days ago. I've broken out of the spoke. I used to fix them myself, but it's just so easy to take it to the bike shop and they don't charge very much. Because replacing the spoke is not that hard. It's just, you have to true the wheel again. And I don't know, that's an art. I've just never been good at that. I've tried my best, and it's what's funny is my bike is from the 1980s, and my wheel, that they say we haven't seen this wheel before. It's made in Europe, made like in and Holland or somewhere, some place that they don't even make wheels anymore because it's too expensive. But I've replaced several of the spokes. Some I replaced myself. And every time I do it, I go to the Trek bike shop near me. They're just awesome. I mean, you go in there and you see $8,000 and $10,000 bikes. They cater to everyone. And every time they replace my spoke, they said the first time they said this is the second time I just did it. The other times I did it myself. They replaced my spoke and they said we trued it as best we could, but some of those your wheel is really just too old, and we're afraid we're going to strip out some spokes. Adjusting them. I take the wheel back and I put it on my bike. It's perfectly straight. And when I went in this time, he said the same thing again. He's like, well, we'll do the best we can. I said, you said that last time and it was perfectly straight. And he goes, yeah, we just have a very close tolerance on what's acceptable. But it's really amazing. I would true it myself and I'd be off a little bit here, a little bit there. I bring it from the bike shop and it's perfectly straight, at least until I break another one. But I have broken so many spokes in that wheel, it's going to be almost new soon. So, of course, the new spokes are much stronger than the previous ones. These are a little bit thicker and they just look more heavy duty. But anyways, plan on doing some biking this week. I was going to do some this weekend, but some things came up. But over the next few weeks, mostly doing some cycling. And I've got the trail marathon. Then a few weeks later, I have a 100-miler. Just kind of take it easy, lift weights. Because the race schedule is very tight. I got something every month, so I don't need to run that much. As I know that I've been feeling better by getting stronger and getting some weight off and eating better. I haven't eaten any sugar in like 3 weeks. I mean, I just really been focusing on my diet. And it's helping. I feel better. I really think that's the hardest part of endurance sports is not the training, it's the eating right. And I'm getting better at it. I'm doing some fasting and stuff. Yeah, Jay, I understand that. Like at one time, I had a park truing stand. I sold it a while back, but then I was trying to true it up my wheel on my bike. There's a bunch of people on the internet tell you how to do it. You mark it with a pencil and do it and all that. And every time I do it, okay, I got it trued in this spot, and then I spin the wheel and it's way out on the other side. I know it's a real art form. And I mean, I take my wheel into the bike shop. They say you don't even have to take the tire off. Taking the tire off of a road bike is always a little bit challenging without trying to pinch your tube. It's not like a mountain bike or something else. I mean, I do it all the time, but they say you don't even have to take the tire off, so let's leave it on. You go in there, they have to take the tire off. They have to take the cog off because you can't get to the spoke head without doing that. You have to have a special tool for that. And they replace the spoke, true the rim, put the tire back on, charge you $32. It's like, I'm not doing it myself anymore. I don't know. I always like to work on bikes myself, but also it's probably safer to do that way, I was thinking about that, because I ride on Ronald Reagan. It's kind of like the Tour de France of Austin, it's 20, 30 miles one way. There's a lot of cyclists on it. But going down some of those hills, I can get up to 30 miles an hour. And sometimes I'm thinking about it because there's a lot of big trucks and stuff. How good of a bike mechanic are you? Because if you have a blowout, you got 100 PSI in your tire and you're doing 30 miles an hour, you don't have much time to stop when it's 100 PSI. So I've thought to myself, it's economical and smart to let them work on my wheels. But I'm excited to go out riding again. It'll help me heal better because I know what kind of problem I have in my foot. I've had it before, like I said earlier in the broadcast, it's a little bit of arthritis, a little bit of a nerve ball in my foot. It just gets aggravated, and the best way to get it back to normal is just to take it easy or do different exercises. And when I cycle, I mean, it's a tough workout, but I don't have the impact that I do when I'm running because I'm a heavy runner, 200 pounds, So that's the plan. for the next few weeks, and actually for the rest of the year, because I have a big race every month. I don't need to run that much, so we'll see how it goes. What else I got going on? Yeah, that's about it. So thanks everybody for joining me today. Wish everyone have a great week, great training. And if you're at any of the races that we were talking about earlier, look me up. Let's chat. And if you're interested in doing an interview, let me know. I'd like to interview more of my friends and also from different parts of the world. And get my hat's crooked. I've been really happy with these hats. I've been thinking about doing shirts. I was thinking, who's gonna want to buy a shirt that's got my name on it? But that's just the name of my channel. But maybe I just buy them for myself. But anyways, everyone have a great week. Hey Anna, I was just fixing to close, but thanks for joining. Yeah. Hey Jay Jordan, Jay, you guys have a great day. Great day. Anna, you have a good evening. Bye for now. Bye-bye.